The Grandstream GXV3350 IP phone. We've got it, we've used it, and this is our video review and walkthrough of the device. Stay tuned. Hi, thanks for joining our review of the GXV3350 IP phone. My name is Chris with Accent, and in this video, as we mentioned previously, we're going to be breaking down and reviewing the Grandstream GXV3350 IP phone. I've got the phone right here over my shoulder, so we physically got it, set it up, been using it for a while, and this video is going to give you a walkthrough of the device, its features, its specs, both hardware and software. And then we're going to also break down the positives and the negatives of the design of the GXV3350. Should be a very informative video if you're looking to purchase this device or if you have one. And if you're looking for a service provider that will support this device, you've come to the right place with Accent. You can visit accentvoice.com, where we support the GXV3350 on our cloud phone service and our cloud phone system. If you've already got this device and you're looking to potentially set it up on a system of your own or a different service provider, this video could be helpful for you as well. So stay tuned, stick around, because we'll have lots of informative information and highlights of the device. All right, so overall, first impressions, really like the phone a lot. The blending of the Android touchscreen interface along with the physical keypad and the physical dedicated buttons, I think is a nice touch. I think it's really something that many phone manufacturers should be driving toward. Some of the best phones that I've seen on the market today have that blend of the touchscreen interface and the flexibility of that interface, along with some of the traditional elements of the physical keypad, dedicated feature keys, etc. So really good job by Grandstream with just the physical design and the blending of the software and the hardware together. It's a good solid device. It seems like it was made very well. It's got the traditional handset and speakerphone capabilities, Bluetooth, Ethernet, all the kind of trimmings you would be looking for in a modern IP phone. We're going to break down the physical elements here a little further along in the video. Just wanted to show you the device here physically on camera. We're going to bring up a side panel here momentarily and dive into each of the feature keys a little more in depth. So here momentarily you'll see that transition occur. But overall, good device, well made, high quality, highly recommended, works very well, audio quality is good. So general inclination, general impression, very positive one from Grandstream, and I would say highly recommended. Just overall blending of features, design, quality. So we can't do a review video without pointing out both the overall positive impressions, but also some of the drawbacks and the negatives as well. And for me, one of the biggest negatives, or just things that I can't understand, is why manufacturers continue to put cameras, webcams, or video conferencing cameras inside of desk phones, especially a desk phone like this right here. When I have a video conferencing setup like I do today, and most people do, right, with a webcam or an embedded camera inside of their laptop, and they have, or a dedicated video conferencing room even, the need to have a video call over a desk phone just seems to be a little passé. Now, I can understand in special situations, such as maybe a phone in a lobby area or in a conference room, maybe even like a lunchroom or something like that, where there's a special application to have video. Maybe it's a front desk, and I want to pick up that phone and make a video call to another phone so somebody can unlock a door. I understand those types of scenarios. But a phone like the GXV3350, which is probably designed more as an executive style phone and not one that's just going to be sitting out in a general area, don't really see the need. Even though technically it can be done, don't really know if there's the application there. I mean, you can install popular video conferencing applications on it. You could use video calling services. It supports the H.264 protocol. So by all means, it technically can be done. You can technically make video calls and hold video conferences on that phone. The poor camera angle, shooting up your face, from the desk angle you can see as it's slanted, combined with the lack of processing power and the lack of just general processing capability, leads me to believe that it wouldn't be as high quality of an experience when compared to, say, using a laptop even using something like your smartphone. You can certainly use popular video conferencing services like Accent Meetings or some of the other ones out there today. But just generally speaking, I think people are so set up using their laptops, PCs, smartphones, tablets, what have you, that it kind of feels misplaced to just be able to do it on a desk phone and have video calls and video conferences on a desk phone. Understand technically it can be done, but don't really see if there's an actual real world need for it. So you've heard our general impressions, positive and negative, about the device. Before we dive into the technical details and actually bring the phone up on the screen and talk in detail about all the ins and outs of the device, let's take a minute to hear a word from our sponsor, Accent. Let's bring in a bigger picture of the phone now so it's a little easier for the viewers to see. You can see it right here next to me on my left-hand side. And we'll just go through the phone interface a little bit here with a nice sharp image, a little easier than me holding the phone to my side as I speak here. And so the first thing, again, I highlighted this in the beginning of the video here in the breakthrough, that just you've got this blending of the Android interface and the Android operating system. So you've got the touch interface, you've got customizable widgets, you've got quick access to certain features and functions, and you've got some dedicated Android, familiar Android buttons, volume down and up. There's your home button, menu button, back button as well. So Grandstream has taken a native Android experience and built it into this tablet interface and touchscreen that you see right here. Now, combining it when using the phone applications with the keypad and more of a traditional telephony interface and phone interface that many users are familiar with. So we have this blending of the Android interface along with the dedicated feature keys. So we've got our standard 12-key dial pad here, all right, 1 through 9 with a 0, star, and a pound key as well. And then a conference key, a transfer key. This button with the phone, it's kind of oddly labeled. It's actually a redial key by default. So if you hit it, the phone application will automatically dial the last call that you made. And then on the right hand of the phone is the mute key. It also doubles as a do not disturb key when people aren't on the phone. You've got a headset key, so you can switch headset off and on, and then a speakerphone key, so you can toggle that speakerphone off and on as well. And when you think about the general kind of user environment for somebody using a desk phone, but also wants this enhanced Android experience, Grandstream did a really nice job of nailing the critical keys. The transfer key is critical, that conference key is critical, the mute key is definitely critical. In previous iterations of their GXV series, the GXV3370 and the 3380 specifically, all of those features were on a Android touch interface. For some users, that's fine. I didn't mind that at all. I used to use the 3380 quite a bit. I didn't mind that at all. However, when it comes to certain users that are looking for that traditional tactile feedback experience where those keys are dedicated and right there and they're not changing with the interface, these dedicated keys are really nice to have. I know from Accent users with our experience, that's something that we get asked for all the time. More buttons and more keys, believe it or not, people like that quite a bit. And I think Grandstream did a good job here of nailing the strengths of both the physical interface and the Android interface as well. So getting into that Android interface a little bit, and also just some of the more technical details of the phone, I've pulled up the datasheet here from the Grandstream website on the GXV3350. You can actually pull this down yourself off of Grandstream's website when you go into the product info for the phone itself. So just bring up some of the highlights. It ships with Android 7.0, and you can see that notated here on the datasheet. In my experience with the Android-based Grandstream phones, there haven't been a lot of Android OS updates, meaning they haven't been moving to Android 8, 9, 10, etc. I think that's a negative and a drawback from the manufacturer's perspective. Yealink ships an Android-based desk phone as well, has very similar features for video purposes and other elements. And they run an antiquated older build of Android. And I think if you're going to, as a manufacturer, develop these types of phones, you need to be supporting the later models of Android. That's absolutely what users are going to want. And you just look kind of silly when you don't have some of the later builds supported. Some of the other highlights here, we have built-in Bluetooth, not only just for syncing with Bluetooth headsets, but also with mobile devices. So you can actually sync your mobile device to the 3350 for some connectivity between the two. Get what is becoming very standard in many of the Android-based phones these days, Wi-Fi, both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Just a note about Wi-Fi and VoIP in general. I've seen this too many times. If your VoIP service in your desk phone are running over a Wi-Fi connection, just be wary of the quality of that connection. It will impact, and I have seen it firsthand and with our customers, it will impact and can impact your call quality. In your house, if you're working from home and you have maybe one phone on the Wi-Fi, probably not going to be too big of an issue. But if you've got a lot of devices, especially in an office environment, pulling on that Wi-Fi, it just can create problems. So just realize that going into it. 6-way audio conferencing and 3-way 720p HD video conferencing. Again, this gets back into kind of the concept we were talking about a few moments ago, which was, truthfully, this is just me. Why do you want to have a video conference on a desk phone with a screen that's this big and the camera shooting right up my face? I don't understand it. I can talk to you right here on a quality video conferencing setup and have a much better experience. 6-way audio conferencing, not too bad though. I like that quite a bit. Let's just scroll down a little bit more here and see what else we've got. A little deeper technical specs here for anybody that's interested. A lot of different protocols supported for SIP, TCP, RTP, all the kind of standard stuff you're going to see in a desk phone. Dual 10100, which is 1000, basically gigabit ports with integrated PoE. There's that 5-inch 1280 by 720 touchscreen. I will say the touchscreen, the interface, very high quality, 5 inches, 1280 by 720. I think the resolution is good. What do you want from a desk phone? That's my question. I've got a high-res display right here. I've got lots of high-res displays all over the place. So I think that hits the mark. We've already talked about some of the other features here. And so, when it comes to telephony, I'll just highlight that. You can see the telephony feature set here. Not going to read all through those, but I will say Grandstream doing a pretty good job of supporting a lot of telephony features. One thing we haven't highlighted, and we'll do this here in a little bit, is talking about an extension module. I'll show you a picture of that here momentarily. Can power up to 4 of what they call the GBX20 extension modules. And this is going to give you dedicated quick dial BLF keys, physical BLF keys that, instead of it just being a widget on the actual interface itself, it'll give you those dedicated Sidecar keys, which is that more traditional experience. So we're going to pull that up here, right on the side here, and take a look at that, and I'll show you what that looks like. So here is the Grandstream GXV3350 with the Sidecar that the device supports, and as I just mentioned a moment ago, it gives the user that more traditional approach and feel with the physical buttons as BLFs and speed dials and other type of feature keys. You can see the Sidecar right here, and I believe we said the device supports 4 of these sidecars, and each sidecar actually has multiple pages. You can tab through the pages with these arrows left and right, and so you have a page of feature keys. Each key is programmed and has a dedicated feature. As I mentioned, it could be something like a BLF, busy lamp field, which is generally going to give you whether or not a user is on the phone, off the phone, or not available. And you might see kind of who they're talking to at the time if you have those permissions, or who might be calling them if the call is actually ringing. You can put things like park buttons here if your phone system supports park buttons. We have a lot of customers that really appreciate the ability to support park buttons on the Grandstream phones, among other. And so Park's very popular with our customers and our users. And this just gives that ability to do something simple as quickly hit the transfer button and then hit a dedicated soft key and transfer that key off. Things like that, speed dials, presence. There are still users in a business setting that like these types of features. I know a lot of folks are pushing more toward applications, unified communications apps. We have that as well for our users. I use that on a regular basis for presence and quick contact, etc. But there are still applications in a business where these types of sidecars make a lot of sense, and it's a good thing that Grandstream has those available for the 3350. So we've talked about the physical aspects of the phone, we've talked about the user interface, and with the Android OS, we've talked about the physical keypads, expansion module as well. Let's talk about the admin interface, the software interface on the desktop, specifically the web interface, which you're going to see right here on the right side of the screen. And the web interface is going to give you the ability, if you so choose, to configure the phone yourself, set up the server that you're going to be using or the services that you're going to be using, codecs, settings. You can even program the widgets in the programmable display from the actual interface itself. Now, a word on this, it can get pretty in-depth, and if you're not familiar with some of the deeper elements of SIP, telephony in general, and networks, I would recommend contacting an organization that has experience in this. Maybe your current phone vendor, if they support a product like this, your current phone service provider. You can certainly, as I mentioned before, contact Accent at accentvoice.com, and we are happy to help you get this set up on our cloud phone system and phone service. So looking at the interface a little bit here, we see our account status window. We've already got an account registered to the system. Actually, I've got my account here registered to the Accent Cloud Phone system. We're going to go through just quickly setting up a second account or what it might look like. I've already got that tab open right here. Just going to click over. You can see I'm setting up account 2. Pretty neat. This phone supports a lot of different accounts. In fact, 16 altogether. Quite a few accounts there. So if you've got 16 different SIP accounts or 16 different phone service accounts, you could theoretically run them all via one phone. It would be an interesting experience, but you could do it. So the main portion here is account registration, and a lot of this information, in fact, all of it, you're going to get from either your IT admin, your PBX vendor, or your cloud phone service provider. So this information is specific to your system or your service that you're trying to use. You can give it an account name. Generally speaking, you might give it an extension number or something like that as an account name. SIP server, again, this is going to be unique to your service provider or your phone system. This could be a DNS address or a publicly available IP address. This could also be something like a local LAN address, depending on whether or not your phone system is local or hosted in a cloud somewhere. So I'm just going to call it sipserver.mycloud.com. That's not a real address, but hopefully you understand what I'm getting at. SIP user ID, this is sometimes a basic ID, such as an extension number or something like that. But again, you need to get your SIP user ID from your phone service provider. We'll just say it's 1000, which is the same as my extension number I'm going to use here. We'll call SIP auth ID the same thing here. And SIP authentication password, again, this is going to be something where your IT provider, again, your cloud service provider would give you. It's going to be something hopefully secure. You're going to put that SIP authentication password in. Once you have entered all of the information that is required, for your general SIP account or your phone service account, there might be some other network settings required, such as DNS, DNS mode, whether or not they use something like serve records or A records for maybe failover, or if there are backup registrars, etc. NAT traversal, a lot of different functions that can be, and a lot of different inputs that can be configured in here. So again, not to overwhelm people too much, but it can be something where if you are not familiar with what you're doing here, it can get a bit overwhelming and a bit confusing. Even things as simple as codecs, right? What codecs would your phone system or your phone service support versus the phone? And those things have to sync up, because if my phone is trying to use a codec that isn't supported by my phone system or my phone service, that call won't connect with any audio. So just be aware of things like this when you're trying to set this phone up. It's why we recommend contacting an expert, contacting either your phone service provider again or your IT admin, your phone system provider, or even contact Accent for some assistance in getting this set up on the Accent cloud phone system. So that's it on the review for the GXV3350 IP phone. Hope you've enjoyed the review and the breakdown, dove into the interface a little bit, took a look at the phone itself, talked about the Android integration, pros and cons of the device in general. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative if you're looking to make a buying decision on the phone. I do recommend the phone. I think it's a good phone. I think it's got, again, that nice blend of physical and touchscreen characteristics with the Android OS and the dedicated keys. If your phone service provider supports it, great, enjoy. If you're looking for a phone system or phone service provider that supports the GXV3350, check out accentvoice.com, where we provide cloud phone system, video meetings, team messaging, cloud contact center services to customers across the US, includes unlimited calling, text messaging, complete support of your not only GXV3350 phone, but also your phone service. If you liked this video, give it a like. Please share it with other folks that you think might be interested in it. And subscribe to our YouTube channel here, Accent Voice, where you're going to get regular updates on videos that we do for a variety of telecommunications hardware, unified communication services, and just general content in the communication space and telecommunications industry. My name is Chris, and this is Accent Voice, and we appreciate you watching our video. We'll see you next time.